The college basketball experience edition of Tuesday, February 25th, college basketball pregame show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code TCE on SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports gambling transactions. Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Rhythm is giving away a $250 future and throwing a March Madness party. So go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. Welcome to the pregame show for Tuesday, February 25th. It is not Mac tonight. We will not be playing the Mac tonight theme as he's at the VCU Richmond game, as he should be. What a matchup for the battle for Richmond. But yeah, so basically, everyone, hey, if you don't know me, I'm Michael Huffer from the Pump Fake Pod. With my co-host over there, we got Mr. Stoolie Picks, a.k.a. Trevor Vandenbosch Jones. What up, Trevor?
Not much. Excited for the slate tonight. Hoping things turn around. It's been a rough week or so, but I'm feeling good about tonight. Tonight's the night.
And yes, it's going to turn around. But it's been on fire for his article reads. So make sure to go to the Sports Gambling Podcast Network and at Cannabis Capper on the social media to check out his daily fantasy articles. I'll let you tout it, Cap. How you been doing over there, Mr. Cannabis?
We've had three straight sweeps and article plays. Been so hot. I've been getting a couple bonus plays every so often. Those been doing okay, but yeah, no, it's been on fire. No, it's been a good run. I want to keep it going tonight. I got tonight's article is live at sportsgamblingpodcastnetwork.com. But I tweeted the plays out late last night. Honestly, I feel like it's almost more stressful when you're hot than when you're cold because you just want to keep the run going. So you got to really think through it. Like, I don't know if you want to get into this later, we definitely can. But just going through tonight's slate for Underdog was actually really challenging because there's a lot of really goofy games tonight. Like a lot of the big spreads. So there's a lot of shitty teams playing like decent teams. So you got to be really careful what you're looking to get into. This is probably the toughest night of the last 3 days to cap. It was tonight. But then again, I'm also feeling the pressure of keeping the run going. So
yeah, the blow up potential is crazy tonight.
It really is. There's a lot of landmines out there, which we'll get to, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we definitely will get to. We got one game. We normally got a game tipping off here at 6:00, but we don't tonight. We do have one at 6:30 in the MAC, a solo MAC game, standalone for one half. Looks like Eastern Michigan is laying 3.5 at home against Bowling Green. Stoolie, what do you like in this one? Is this a Federale play?
Yeah, I mean, they've been really good. They've been covering numbers, and then even when they started laying points, they've been covering some of these games. So it would have to be the Fed special, Eastern Michigan with me, but I laid off this game. I don't want any involvement with Eastern Michigan laying points, but they have been doing it, so props to them, I suppose.
Capper?
I took Bowling Green plus I took it at 3.5 last night. It's climbed up to 4.5. I don't know what to do with this EMU team. I feel like the Feds are off them. The Feds have been thrown off the scent. So I'm going to take Bowling Green on the road, and I'm thinking I think they win it outright. I'm going to sprinkle the money line on this one.
Yeah, I forgot to give mine. I locked up EMU last night, keeping the federal play going. So we'll see if they can get it done. But I do kind of agree with your angle there, Cap, that it's got to end at some point. It always does.
It feels like it's ended. It's been over for a while. They had that nice run. Like I want to say like January, early February. But I guess they've won 3 in a row. But even so, I don't think they've been covering. I don't. They were. I'm pretty sure they were laying points against Northern Iowa, and they barely covered that game. I'm sorry, Northern Illinois, and they barely covered that game. So.
Yeah, they've covered 4 of their last 5.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. I was saying, all right.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, really good start here. Like I said, let's get off the Maction at 6:30 and get into some of these more premier games. We got Florida going into Georgia, cocktail rivalry or whatever the hell that world's large, whatever they call that now.
Yeah, world's largest cocktail party. You got it. Yeah.
Yeah, but now that was when the NCAA started changing. UGA's catching 7. It looks like at home. I thought this number was really weird. Like I just thought it was weird in general, but I actually like Florida here. I'm not going to fade Florida as my cap, but I do think this Georgia team has been feisty at home, and the number was kind of weird here. So this does seem a little scary, but I'm not going to fade Florida.
Okay. All right, you got Florida coming in winning 6 in a row. Georgia's lost 4 in a row, and I feel like this line kind of stinks. This is Georgia's like last best chance to like pad the resume. You know, I think I don't even think they're a bubble team. They have been, shout out to Matt Dix in the chat. They have been asked recently. I'm going to co-sign. I'm probably going to pick Georgia, and I don't think I'm going to bet this. It feels like a desperate spot for Georgia, and I don't know that Florida is going to be up for this game. I don't know. Trev, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not betting this game just because the line is weird. I do think it, obviously like Florida's going to get a ton of money, a ton of bets with that number.
Oh yeah, nobody's on Georgia tonight.
I think some people might bet Georgia just because the line stinks a little bit too. Like that has kind of gotten more well known, but Florida's 20-7 against the spread. They don't sleepwalk through games. Like they show up and they get it done. I would take Florida, but I'm not going to touch this game. I'm just going to leave it be. But Georgia at home has been good. I mean, Missouri blew them out by 13. I think that was the biggest home loss in conference play. So I mean, Missouri, Florida, fairly similar. I know Condon's a game time decision also for Florida, so he may not play, but Handlogan or whatever his name is back also. So I like Florida. I don't think they sleepwalk through it. And Mike White's 0-6, I believe, 0-4, 0-6 versus Todd Golden here. So Florida or nothing, but I don't want to bet this game. I would rather sit out and watch it than bet on Florida. And then all of a sudden they pull a game like they did in South Carolina and win on a buzzer beating layup basically. So I'm just going to sit this one out.
I'm just going to say, I think Florida wins, but I think Georgia covers the number. I think it's probably a closer game than you would expect.
I mean, they did cover against Auburn, but Auburn was drilling them for majority of that game. I mean, do we see a similar backdoor cover? I don't know, but yeah, I didn't
hurt that game too. Broom did get hurt in the middle of that game, and then they started coming back a little bit. So,
yep, good call there. But I don't love that pick, but I do love these picks because we have Underdog. We got to go to our sponsors with Underdog Fantasy. Underdog, NBA, NHL, college basketball, whatever sport you can, cash them in big with the Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. And also we have a promo code here, so sign up to Underdog Fantasy with promo code above Trevor's head there, TCESGPN, to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. Well, we got our classic pick'em entry, and we got the leader of these pick'ems. So why don't we pass it over to Cap, who's swept 3 days in a row, 9-0.
Okay. All right. My favorite play for tonight, I'm going to give you the chalky one, I think. Underdog at Underdog Fantasy, you can get John Tanjay to go higher than 1.5 3-pointers made. You're giving a little bit of juice on it. I think it's like I think last night I got it at it's a 0.9, so I think that's like a minus 110 as opposed to usually they give like flat like plus 100 odds in most of their plays. But Washington allows opponents to shoot 34.1% from beyond the arc, and Tanjay averages 2.1 made threes at home this year. He's gone higher in 8 of his last 9. He also cleared 1.5 3-pointers in 5 out of 8 conference home games. I like the matchup for him tonight. The number is a bit low, which kind of had me scratching my head, but he's been like a cash machine when it comes to 3-pointers made. So I'm going to continue to ride the hot hand with Tanjay going higher than 1.5 3-pointers made tonight against Washington.
All right, Mr. Stooley.
Yeah, I'm going to go to probably the grossest game of the day. Duke at Miami here. Everyone knows I'm a big advocate of fading Miami at all costs, but for player prop wise, I'm just going to go Cooper Flag rebounds. It's 6.5 higher than 6.5 rebounds. He's cleared this number in a ton of games. I mean, he dominates the glass. Miami's got nobody down low, and then I think Matthew Cleveland's also going to be questionable. So there's the blowout potential, but I mean that first half it should be all Duke dominating the glass, getting inside Cooper Flag. So I think Flag just goes nuts, and he finishes probably close to 10 boards. I know he had 10 the last game against Miami, or who was that? Virginia. He had like 10 in like 13 minutes, 14 minutes. So we're going to get a little bit more pace here. A Miami team that has no interior. I'll take Cooper Flag to go higher than 6.5 rebounds.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I will go to the better game there. Again, with Mississippi State, Alabama. I think this is a misprice. I think actually we're going to see some points from Mr. Grant Nelson himself against Mississippi State. I think he matches up well. He hasn't hit this number in the last 2 games. So I think he does have a random pop off here on a good matchup spot. So I will take Grant Nelson higher than 10.5 points. Cap, why don't you round us off for the final play?
Final play. Okay, I'm going to give you a plus odds one. I think it was like plus 110, plus 107, something like that last night. I'm going to take you to Columbia, Missouri, South Carolina at Missouri. We're going to ride with Caleb Grill to cook up more than 13.5 points tonight.
Ooh, let's go.
Thought process here is, first off, he averages 14.5 at home, and second, South Carolina actually defends the perimeter really poorly. They allow opponents to shoot 35.5% from beyond the arc. Caleb, I didn't like the 3-pointers number, the made threes numbers. It was a little juicy for me, so I'm going to go with the points because it was plus odds. I like Caleb Grill to fill it up there. He's gone higher than 4 of his last 6 conference home games. He's gone higher than 13.5 points in 3 of his last 4 games overall. Let's go with Caleb Grill, ride the hot hand to go higher than 13.5 points.
Let's go. Let's get high there. Go to Underdog, place that in there, and again, use code TCE SGPN. And I will shout out Avetta. Thanks for the call out, because we are sponsored by SGPN ourselves. Gear up for March Madness with Merch Madness at the SGPN store. Promo code Madness for 20% off in the SGPN store. That's a great deal. Get in now before the promo code is done. And you get some coffee mugs. I got some sweatshirts, some caps. I know got some T-shirts, some hats. All of it's 20% off. So get in there with promo code March Madness. All right, we got another game on deck. Let's go through the 7 o'clock slate. Marquette, Providence is catching 12 points against Marquette. Okay. Another crazy line here. Cap, why don't you lead us off? You seem agitated by this game.
I don't. Okay. The line's going up to 13. I'm not. Yeah. I get a little bit. But the line's at 13.5. I like to fade Shaka Smart as a big favorite, and I haven't seen anybody trying to fade Marquette in this spot. I guess the regular season is pretty much over for. I mean, they're Providence at 12-15. They've had a really rough year. 6-10 in conference. They're not terrible. I don't understand why there's more love for the Providence line. I think that the line is a bit beefy, especially for a conference game. The system play has been to fade Shaka as a big dog. I'm going to fade him as a big. Fade Shaka as a big favorite. He's a big favorite in this game. They're off a loss, but I'm still going to fade it. Marquette wins by 10. Like, what are we doing here?
All right, Trevor.
Yeah, I picked Marquette. I didn't bet it. Also, this line's it went up like what, a point to 13. It's just kind of sat there too. It's done a whole lot of nothing. I know Providence is equivalent to like DePaul and Seton Hall on the road when they're away from the dunk. So I mean, no offense, Cap. No offense, but they're just not a good team right now. I know that they've got some injuries and stuff, and Marquette did just get embarrassed on national TV at Villanova. So you got to imagine there's a little extra juice. But yeah, you're right that the Shaka big favorite angle I totally spaced on, but I just didn't bet this game. If I had to, I would say maybe Marquette first half. They come out hot, they come out pissed off, a lot of vinegar in the piss, and then they just kind of coast the second half, and Providence backdoors it by like 11.
That's like it's like my exact feeling is that there's gonna be a backdoor cover in this one. Like you're gonna see Marquette like give up like a 3 in like in the final minute to take it from like a 13 point 13 points to down to 10 or something like that. So and nobody is on Providence tonight. So
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm on Marquette. I think this is the one game they randomly get up for and do cover this number. So let's do another game here. Baylor's catching 2.5. Cincinnati maybe 1.5. Certain places that you can find it. Shop around. Cincinnati at home against Baylor. Kind of two desperate teams here. I took Baylor, and I normally take the home team here, but for some reason I feel like this matchup is good for Baylor. I know they're desperate. They've lost 2 in a row. It is Cincinnati at home, but I don't love betting this team. They did just get a pretty big win against TCU. I don't know if they shoot the ball as well for how physical this game is going to be, in my opinion. So I took Baylor plus 2.5, but
okay. All right. I feel like the line's telling you what's going to happen here. I think we're probably going to get like a really tight game, probably 1-2 possession. I think Cincinnati wins on pulls away on free throws at the end. Baylor, again, they play so physical. I feel like they're coming in like banged up to like every single game they're in, and I think that's going to hurt them on the road against a tough team like Cincinnati. So I don't love this game. I did bet Cincinnati just because I wanted to have some action in this window. This is not one of my favorite plays. It's my understanding that Jaden Nunn is out. Yeah. Last I heard.
Yeah, I believe it was a game time decision. Oh. So I mean, I also haven't looked in a couple hours, so some could have changed.
All right, Trevor, what about you?
I took Cincinnati money line minus 130. We know, yes, Baylor's off back-to-back losses, but they went to Arizona or played Arizona, lost, and they hit the road to Colorado. Then they're turning around and back-to-backing to Cincinnati. And we know Cincinnati or Baylor's guards love to get downhill. They love to get towards the bucket, some mid-range shots at the rim, and Cincinnati's not going to really let you do that. They're very physical interior team, and they're number one at not fouling on defense also. So Baylor's guards definitely have the ability to make shots, but I think coming off of back-to-back losses, you're just in elevation, then you're going to hit the road again. Cincinnati needs wins. They just got one. I think they might be feeling a little good. And Simeon Lukosius is available tonight also. That came through about 30 minutes ago. So there's that. And so I like Cincy at home. I think a lot of people see Baylor at plus money and are liking it, but I think they catch another L here. I think Cincinnati at home is going to get it done. That defense, and they've been scoring lately. I know last game when they scored 75, they had 59 against West Virginia, but that was a slog fest. I mean, 70 against Iowa State, 85, 84, 93. So they've been scoring better. Their offenses look better. So I'll back Cincinnati here at home.
So what I'm hearing is Jaden Nunn has the flu, but Trev, you're feeling a bit Lukosius tonight.
I'm feeling very Lukosius tonight.
Well, that's a fun angle. My dog's freaking out, so it makes me like Baylor even more, as you guys know. So, yeah. Let's get into sponsors. SGPN, we've partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And your money is safe as the card is FDIC insured. And the best part is no credit checks, and it's completely free. Sign up today and use the promo code SGPN so you can get better cashback rewards and instant Tier 2 status. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport. plus props for every game in the live dealer casino. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Let's highlight a bet for MyBookie. What do we like here in this next slate or next window, I guess? Let's do this gross Big Ten game. Northwestern, the same line, 2.5, 1.5, shopping around. While Minnesota's laying points in the barn at that number, 1.5, 2.5. I took Minnesota money line. I know they shouldn't be laying points, but I think another good matchup here against Northwestern. So I like Minnesota at home, and I don't trust this Northwestern team to bet on. I'm not saying I trust Minnesota a ton. I guess I'll trust them a little more at home.
Yeah, I hear the barn is a tough place to play.
In that old hockey arena, come on.
Oh yeah.
So I'm on Minnesota here. I don't like Northwestern on the road. I do like. Yeah. Oh yeah. Fantastic ad read by Huff. He's really stepped up his ad read game tonight. So. Either way, I'm taking Minnesota at home. I'm going to lay the 1.5. I think honestly, I think this is kind of a smash spot for them. I do not like this Northwestern team, especially on the road. Neither of these teams really have a whole lot to play for. I believe they're both comfortably in the conference in the conference tournament. They're not going to get bounced. So, no. Northwestern needs this game.
They both do. Bottom four don't get in.
Both do. They're struggling to get in there. Yeah.
In that case,
they're both.
I still like this for Minnesota at the barn. That doesn't change my cap at all. If anything, I like it a bit. I like it a bit better for Minnesota being the home team. Yeah, give me Minnesota minus the 1.5.
Yeah, Northwestern +3 for me last night. They don't get blown out. Like they've been playing tough. I think their biggest loss last 2-3 weeks has been Illinois. That was a 9-point game on the road. Otherwise they played tough. 6-point loss to Wisconsin, 5 to Washington on the road. Oregon was a 6-point road loss, and then they lost by 4 to Nebraska at home. Minnesota also laying points. I believe they are 1-9 this year, 1-8, somewhere like that.
As a favorite?
Covered the first game of the season against Oral Bob, so congrats, but failed to cover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 straight as a favorite. So I get they're desperate. They're at home. They should have the best player on the floor with Dawson Garcia, but Northwestern, they play tough. They play competitive. They don't get blown out. They're playing for their coach, and they need this game too. So I think this is going to be a close game. I think Northwestern wins, but catching 3 last night, I was just going to take the points, given the volatility that both of these teams have with injuries, and then they are on the road. So I took the 3, but I like Northwestern here. I think they got the better coach. He gets the most out of these guys. They've been without their top 2 guys for a minute, and they've still been competitive. So Minnesota laying points was a no-no for me. So let's go Wildcats.
I can definitely appreciate that, but yeah, Northwestern has to Costco in the chat. Northwestern has 2 starters out, banged up and on the road. And
I think that Ohio State smoke job was a confidence builder too, that they could just go out and do it, because they fucking locked down and they did not quit. They just kept it rolling. So.
All right, we can get off this mid-major game and go to the real Power 5 conference. Let's split up and consolidate here. I will go to the best conference in the United States, the Mid-American Conference, a.k.a. the MAC. Mac, we definitely miss you, Moneyline Mac. But we will consolidate these MAC games. We got NIU versus Miami, Ohio, Akron at Ball State, Toledo at Kent State, Ohio at Western Michigan, and then Buffalo at Central Michigan. I laid it with Central Michigan, did not bet. Laid it with Ohio, did not bet. Laid it with Kent and Ball State, did bet. And laid it with Miami, Ohio. What do you guys got here in these 5 MAC games on Tuesday night?
Okay, I'm going to battle you on Toledo and Kent. I've got Kent State plus the point. I started 7.5 last night, so I jumped on that.
I'm on Kent State. Or you mean Toledo plus
sorry,
7.5?
I'm dyslexic. Yeah, you're correct. I'm on Toledo plus 7.5. I think they're the better team and they're catching points. What am I missing? As far as other games, I liked Ohio last night minus 5.5. It's up to 6.5 now. I would probably still lay it with Ohio. Just better roster and they're getting healthy. Northern Illinois at Miami. This game is hilarious. I'll lay it with Miami. Probably not a bet for me. I don't like the big spreads in the MAC. I feel like these teams can be kind of random from night to night. So I'd probably stay away from that one. Buffalo at Central Michigan. Give me Buffalo plus 13.5. Buffalo's a covering machine. They backdoor everything. Give me the Bulls. Oh,
I fade them every game.
do you really? I've had good luck with them this year.
I don't know what game. Hey, you must know your spots because
the last game they beat Northern Illinois outright and covered one of those games. But they've done well on Tuesday nights, if any nights that they've done. Saturdays.
Okay. I knew they were covering recently.
Ball State covered against them last game.
All
right.
Yeah. What say you, Trev? I take it you're fading the Bulls.
Yeah, I didn't bet it just because it's so ridiculously big and it's Central Michigan. But I wouldn't bet Buffalo with your money. Ever.
I've already bet it. I've bet it with my money. So
well, hey, I didn't bet it, so I'll root for you, I guess.
Awesome.
Buffalo somehow show up and play a competent game, but fading Northern Illinois too. Northern Illinois is also leaving the conference, so this will be Miami, Ohio's last chance, probably. Unless they play them in the tournament to get one last shot in at them. So I think they absolutely wreck them.
Is that a rivalry?
Tonight. No, but they're leaving the conference. They're just leaving them high and dry for someone else. So they're going to get one last shot in, I think. And then Ohio, I don't know. The line was kind of weird last night. It was like 5.5, but it kept crawling up. So I guess I'll take Ohio, nothing. And then what was the Kent State game? I kind of like Toledo. Off the loss, I think they kind of get up a little bit, but Toledo's also been pretty bad. So, I mean, maybe Kent State. Horrible. Yeah. Who does Kent State have on deck, actually?
That's a good question.
Connecticut.
No, they got Akron on deck. Yeah, I'll take Toledo.
The Connecticut, Ohio.
Yeah, UConn. Yeah. All right. So that's good. We got some MAC games out there. We got one just tipped off as well. Let's consolidate the other mid-major games of the night. The ACC, Duke is catching away in 24 points against Miami, and Pitt is laying 8.5, 9. Shop around. I took Georgia Tech with the points. I'm not laying points with Pitt, but as Mac would say, a phony cover could be due for them. Because they do kind of do that sometimes. I took Miami with the points. I didn't bet it. I could be talked into actually betting it. Just seems like a lot of points, but it is Duke, and they've been drilling these teams. Cap, what do you got in these two?
Okay, I really like Georgia Tech tonight. It's a money line. It's a money line MAC play. Eat shit Pitt. You got to fade Pitt here. They're both 7-9 in conference. I don't really think there's that great of a difference between the two teams, between these two rosters. I don't really see. I mean, I guess Pitt been getting some buzz as a potential tournament team. They are not a bubble team. I don't care what anybody says. I think Georgia Tech might be live here. I know that they haven't been good, but given the spot, I kind of like this for Georgia Tech plus the 8.5. I'm trying to look for any excuse to bet Georgia. I mean, they've won 3 of their last 5. Okay, they beat Cal, they beat Stanford, they beat Clemson in triple overtime. They're not that dead ass of a team. Why are they laying 8? Is there an injury in this one?
There probably is, but they're just who knows. That's the thing.
The other one, I don't know what to do with Duke.
I think the books love Pittsburgh. That's why the number they always lay that number against these teams.
It seems like there's always like a 2 or 3 point book buffer with when it comes to Pitt. So I'm on Georgia Tech plus 8.5. Duke Miami. I have no idea what to do with that game. It's the exact same number that it was in Cameron. It's like 23.5, 24.5 at Cameron, and now they're in Miami, and it's still 23.5, 24.5.
Twist my arm, make me bet it.
I don't really want to bet. I mean, it's on national TV. That's an ESPN game, really? We couldn't do better than Duke at Miami.
It's Duke. ESPN's got them so far down their
Who's
throats.
gonna be watching? Who's gonna watch that game aside from like all the the guys in fucking Stanford, Louisville beat Vatek. What's the line you got in that?
No, I don't. It was probably like 19 to 22 range.
22 point. Are you serious?
I mean, they've been laying this number. Maybe was it at Vatek or you at saying at Is it at Cameron?
No. I'm saying the Louisville Vatek game. What's the line?
It's 10. It's 10.
10.5. Yeah, sorry. I thought you Duke was laying against Virginia Tech.
I really
This
want
line
to
hasn't moved either.
I really want to take Vatek, but I can't talk myself into it.
I mean, yeah, we can do those games too for AC. I like Louisville, but I just don't want to fade Louisville. So that's my play on that. I just don't want to fade them because it hasn't been profitable this season. Yeah. Trevor, what about in these 3 ACC games? We'll just combine them all.
Yeah, the Duke Miami game, I played Miami under 63.5. That's another team I just blind fade. The system's the ATM's kind of been sucking up my withdrawal card last couple weeks, fading them. But Duke, they haven't dicked around. They haven't fucked around in any of these games. They show up. They play defense. And Miami could be without Matthew Cleveland tonight. That's just going to, really, really hurt them. So I took the under 63.5. I think it's up to 64.5.
Nobody else on that team can score.
No, they're terrible. And Duke, Duke fans will overrun that building too. Because they're everywhere. So
yeah, I guess
I took the team total under. Helms is saying Cleveland's not warming up. So
that's probably the. I mean, if he's not playing, they're not going to get. I mean, they might not break 40 if he doesn't play.
Yeah, and if you want to take a first half under, maybe just team total under, just because Duke's going to play their starters a full 20 minutes, or their main guys full 20 minutes in that first half, whereas they could, the bench guys could come in that second half at some point. But I still don't, if Miami somehow sneaks past 63 against this Duke defense, so be it. Mm-hmm. I'll go down with the ship. But the Pitt game, I like Georgia Tech too. I didn't bet it. I mean, who's Pitt to lay 3 possessions to anybody? They've been terrible. I know they snuck out that Syracuse cover, but their wins since January 28th are Miami and Syracuse. And then you could even argue that was when North Carolina, the previous win, was North Carolina. North Carolina was fucking terrible and coming off or had Duke on deck, and then Syracuse prior. I mean, they're not good. They're not good. So, I mean, it would be Georgia Tech or nothing. But it does feel like a lot of people like Georgia Tech today. So I guess maybe side with a bit of caution. But that's where I would sit for that one. And then what was that other game? Virginia Tech.
Vatek at Louisville at Vatek is the third one.
Yeah, I don't know how you confidently back Virginia Tech here. I know Louisville, they got Pittsburgh on deck, so I'm not even going to count that as like a look ahead. Vatek's back home, but they've not been good, man. Their wins are Miami, Notre Dame, Virginia, Florida State, NC State, Cal, Miami. They're just not a good team. I mean, that Miami loss too. Wait, was that no, when they beat Miami? Yeah, that was the crazy cover. Never mind. But it would be Louisville or nothing. But this line's sat at 10. It's kind of weird. There's a lot of weird movement and lines today out there, so it's kind of
I bet Louisville.
Weird.
I'm doing it. All right, let's do this real quick because we got to fire away. We got 20 minutes left. Let's try to get this in. We'll do A10 now. St. Louis. It's basically a pick 'em, shop around. Davidson's laying a point. Richmond is catching 13.5, 14.5. I laid it with VCU and I picked St. Louis. I hate both of these teams, St. Louis and Davidson, but I feel like St. Louis somewhat desperate here. And I know Davidson, it's tough to fade them at home, but I'm going to go with the more athletic team. Hopefully St. Louis actually shows up on defense for once. They're so bad on defense.
Okay. My concern with St. Louis isn't the defensive side, but it's how loose they play with the ball on the offensive side. They are turnover machines. Like, A number that didn't make it that did not make it into today's article was Robbie Avila higher than 2.5 turnovers. I still like it. I just didn't like it as much as some of the other numbers I was able to find. But either way, they are turnover machines on offense. They really scare me, especially on the road. I think this is another case where the line's telling you. I mean, if this is a neutral, I feel like St. Louis is probably like 3 or 4 points favored. The fact that Davis is laying 1.5. I think it's kind of telling you what's going to happen here. I like Davidson to win a really close game. As far as VCU Richmond, they went through the history of this game on last night's show. It's typically the games in Richmond are like a lot tighter. When it's at VCU, that's when the blowouts get come into play. But when it's at Richmond, it tends to be a bit tighter. I'm probably staying away from this. I really want to watch this because it is a rivalry game and it's going to be kind of fun to watch. Gun to my head, I probably would take Richmond plus 14.5. I know they lost by 41, but they've got to have some freaking pride here. I mean, this is their Super Bowl, is it not? Like, what else do they have to play for? They're not. They know they're not going to go very far in the tournament. This is it. You're gonna have your kids in the building. They're going to be screaming their heads off. Get up for it. Let's fucking go. Give me Richmond to stay within the number. Barely.
Trevor?
Yeah, the Davidson game, I was close to betting Davidson. I didn't. You got Davidson, number one in the conference, at not turning over versus the league's worst in St. Louis. And when St. Louis steps up in competition, they don't win. I mean, I'm not going to hold it against them, but I mean, they've lost to VCU, George Washington, Dayton, St. Joe's, George Mason, and Loyola Chicago. They did beat Rhode Island, so I guess you can give them that, but that was at home. But now you're on the road. Davidson, they're back home after winning a road game. I think they got a little bit of confidence. And I just don't like the St. Louis team. Like, a lot of people like them because they got Swope shirts and as Towley said, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but they just haven't been good this year. I think a lot of people, still see that guy and they're like, oh, he's awesome. We'll bet on him. We know he's really good, but they haven't been good this year. They haven't been good. So I would go Davidson or nothing. And then in that VCU game, I could see Richmond hanging around for a half because we know VCU kind of starts out a little slow. Teams hang around the first half. And then that second half, they shove a pillow over your face and suffocate you to death. They murder you in the second half.
Shit.
So, it's true. I mean, if you watch them, they don't fuck around. So, I mean, I would maybe play a VCU second half or something. And if VCU comes out and is up 20 at half, so be it. But I like them a lot better in the second half than I do full games. We saw it last week too with Mason, where they down a couple or up a couple at half. And then all of a sudden, second half came and they just went on a 15-16-0 run or some shit like that. And they just never looked back. So, VCU second half, if I had to bet anything, as long as they're not up, damn near covering the number.
All right. Well, let's get into the final ad read. Rhythm. We're sponsored by Rhythm. Rhythm is throwing an epic March Madness party, and you are invited. All Rhythm users are invited to a First Four watch party Wednesday, March the 19th at the Awesome Stadium Swim at Circa Stadium Swim. It's so awesome. Love that place. Free drinks. Plus, you get to hang out with the guys from Sports Gambling Podcast, the College Experience. I got to do this last year. I can attest. It's awesome. And it gets better. Rhythm is also giving away a $250 March Madness future for one random lucky Rhythm user. Even if you can't make the party, you can still make it with the future bet. Just sign up for your 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, RITHMM. Come by and use Rhythm to help out fill your bracket. Make some bets while you are there for the free party, plus a chance at that $250 future bet.
The number one Rhythm play today, I just looked and they spit it out. It's Miami plus 24.5 is there.
Oh, twist my arm. All right, that's all I needed to get on. That's all I needed to get on them. I will bet Miami now. Let's go. I was waiting for that and maybe waiting for like a plus 30 live, but I will take that now. So perfect. All right, let's get back into it. We're at the 8:00 slate. We got Oklahoma State at home catching 10.5. The line opened at 9.5. I did bet Iowa State. I don't feel like fading it, but this is that weird, desperate time of the year where I think the line stunk. But I just don't want to put my hard-earned money on Oklahoma State. They got to prove it for me. And I know they've been playing a little bit better basketball while Iowa State's been struggling, but I just think they could be in this game for 25, 30 minutes and then just absolutely blow it the final 10.
Okay. Oklahoma State plus 10.5 is one of my favorite plays on the board tonight. Okay, I'm not saying I would not sprinkle the money line on this one, although I would love to, but it's Oklahoma State at home. We like that. It's Iowa State coming in still super banged up. I don't really think. I mean, Iowa State, they know they got their ticket punched to the tournament. As long as they show up with a pulse to the conference tournament, they're going to get in. I mean, actually, I don't even think they need the conference tournament win. I think they're 21-6, 9th ranked team overall. They're in for all intents and purposes. They can kind of coast from here until March, and I think that's what we're going to get. I think Oklahoma State, 5-11 in conference, might need some help with seeding. Maybe probably not, but they just got embarrassed on national TV to Kansas. So I think they get up for this game. I like the spot for Oklahoma State. Give me Oklahoma State plus 10.5 to cover.
Yeah, cosign. Oklahoma State's one of my favorite plays of the day too. They just got embarrassed at Kansas. They walked into a buzzsaw there, lost by 30 something. Oh shit, let my music start playing. They got embarrassed. Now you're going to come home. Iowa State off of Houston. I love fading teams off of Houston. They just beat the ever-loving shit out of you. And then not to mention it's a back-to-back game. And I believe Jones and Gilbert, I want to say. I forget who, but they should be out. I mean, Iowa State can't win the Big 12. I know they're not going to obviously want to lose this game, or I don't think they will. But what's the point of playing your guys and risking further injury in essentially a pointless game almost? So I like Oklahoma State, and then I think at some point we'll probably get an announcement of some injuries in that line. I'll drop like a point or two. So
that's my guess too. Yeah. Well, I mean, shout out to Mike Mullinex. I'm hoping I get that family name correct, although I'm not sure if it actually is a real family name, but maybe it is. Either way, Jones is back. Gilbert questionable last I saw. My guess is Gilbert probably stays out. And if Jones plays, it's probably limited minutes. He's probably not going to get a full workload against Oklahoma State, is my guess.
All right, let's move on. We're running out of time here. Let's go and combine these and try to run through these a little quicker. SEC games at 9 o'clock. We got Alabama laying 8.5 at home. We got LSU or Tennessee laying 10.5 on the road. South Carolina catching 13.5 on the road against Missouri. I took South Carolina. I picked Tennessee. I didn't bet it. And then I took Alabama as well. I don't trust this Mississippi State team, but there is a little desperation in them. But coming off a big win, I think Alabama is finding their stride after dropping a couple.
Okay. For this one, I like Missouri to freaking smash South Carolina. I think South Carolina sucks. And my thought is that Missouri, they still kind of, I feel like they still kind of need that game. So I think they're going to come up and probably get it. For Tennessee LSU, I kind of like LSU first half, Tennessee full game if you're going to Benedict it. I think they keep it close at home, and then Tennessee just fucking rolls them. Mississippi State Alabama, this is one I can't wait to watch. These teams can get up and down the floor. There should be a lot of points scored. I do not like the game total at 173.5. I think no matter what side you take in that, you're not going to feel great. So I would just stay away from it. Give me Mississippi State plus the points. I think they'll keep it close. Why not? 2-possession game.
All right, Trevor.
I like Bama here. Mississippi State on the road has not been great. I know they've beat Ole Miss or whatever, and forget who else, but their road wins have not been impressive whatsoever. And Alabama, I think, kind of found their stride last game. I think it continues here tonight. Missouri, I like Missouri. I think they crush them. I mean, South Carolina goes on the road and loses by double digits every time, but this line has come down, and everybody and their brother is going to be betting Missouri off of a loss. So I laid off, but maybe a Missouri team total. And then the other game, I bet LSU plus 10.5 tonight. I like this one too. You got Tennessee coming off of a hot shooting game. Lanier went bonkers last game, and they that game was pretty tight throughout, and the last 4 or 5 minutes they pulled away a little bit here, but LSU always feisty at home. Tennessee's got Alabama on deck, so I like LSU. I took the 10.5. I think they lose by like 6 or 7.
Okay. Missouri team total is probably like 78, 79. Yeah.
You'll be right around there. Yeah. 70, 78.
92, 110, 87, 82. I'm sorry. 85. God bless it. My freaking screen's 85, 110, 87, 82, 64. One of these things is not like the other.
South Carolina does minimize possessions, though, to just play a little devil's advocate there. But yeah, Missouri could control it. All right, let's go to the Big Ten. Big Ten's at 9. We got long spreads all day today. Illinois is laying 10.5. And Wisconsin's laying 13.5, 14.5, excuse me. That line's kind of just hung around 14, 15, 13. I locked up Illinois 9.5 last night. I think this is the random game they cover, and I don't trust Iowa to cover. I just have not been able to do that. And even if they're covering the game, they end up blowing that game. So I think this is the random game Illinois gets up for. And I picked Wisconsin. I haven't bet it yet. I think that they smashed with Washington, and this Washington team is just given up. And Wisconsin was covering that number. I was on Oregon last Saturday, but they were covering that number, and then they blew it. I think they get the job done, though.
These lines are gross. Wisconsin minus 13.5. I guess give me Washington to cover it. Backdoor might be open here. I'm not super excited for. I mean, I guess if you got to play anything, you might think of maybe Washington team total if you think they're going to keep it close. Iowa at Illinois. This is one I would have loved to have played props in because I think there's going to be points scored, but all the points totals are freaking juiced. I couldn't find anything playable. The only thing I like was Yakasionis rebounds over 5.5 was the only playable prop I could find in this. And even that I don't feel great about, so it didn't even make the article. Give me Iowa in the points. I don't know what to do. I seriously I don't know what to do with these games. I don't love either of these teams. I don't think this Illinois team should be laying 10.5 to just about anybody. Iowa can score. They're not going to play defense. So I think Illinois does get the win, but I think Iowa can do enough offensively to keep it close. Give me Iowa plus the 10.5 is probably my favorite of the two bets. I don't know. What say you, Mr. Wisconsin?
Yeah, obviously it's Bucky up tonight. I played the over 81.5 team total though. Washington on the road gives up regularly 85 plus in conference play here. So I like Bucky, and if you want to lay it, I don't hate it because they were dominating that game, covering even this number against Oregon. And then the last 6 minutes, they took their foot off the gas. So I think guard got into their ass, and they're going to play a full 40 minutes tonight, and they're not going to repeat what they just did. So I would lay with Wisconsin there. The other game, what was it? Was Iowa, Illinois. Yeah, Iowa, Illinois. Yep, I like Iowa here with the points. Illinois has fallen off the face of the earth. Their offense has scored under 70 the last 3 games. Yeah, they have not looked good. If Iowa played defense and couldn't score, I would like Illinois here just to lock them down and win like 70 to like 58 or something. But Iowa can score. I think they lose this game by like 6 or 7, and I don't believe in this Illinois team. I think too many people are believing in the bounce back, but we've seen nothing to give you confidence against in this Illinois team personally. So I didn't bet it, but I would take Iowa.
Is Illinois a tournament team?
Yeah, they are right now. They could lose.
They're playing their way out of a good seed. Yeah, they easily could lose it. If they win one game and lose a bunch down the stretch here, and then they get knocked out first round of the Big Ten tournament, I think they might find themselves close or near the bubble.
Honestly,
North Carolina are in the tournament potentially or close to it. Illinois is definitely in it right now, but they're definitely blowing their load a little bit. All right, let's move on. TCU, West Virginia. West Virginia's laying 7.5 against TCU. I think it's too many points. I don't like fading Morgantown, but I did lock up a dog here. Jamie Dixon, familiar with West Virginia rivalry. Jamie Dixon, a good coach on the road. I think TCU, off their tough loss against Cincinnati, losing by 12 or something like that, They bounce back on they stay in travel spot and go to Morgantown and probably not win, but close enough to cover.
Honestly, if I had two teams in the Big 12 that I've lost the most money on, it's probably TCU and West Virginia. I can't get a read on West Virginia in particular. I can't get a read on this year, and I take Mac's advice. I lose. I fade Mac's advice. I lose. No matter what I do with this team, I lose. And I feel that TCU hasn't been quite as bad, but this has been a struggle for me. Give me TCU plus the 7.5. This is me doing a coin flip. I think they backdoor it. I don't have a great feel for this one.
Trevor?
Yeah, I like TCU here. West Virginia I feel like, kind of just run out of gas. I mean, I know they're coming off a tough Texas Tech team. They walked into a buzzsaw with them off of a loss, but West Virginia started the season great. Gonzaga, Arizona, Kansas wins, Iowa State. But after Iowa State, they've really just fallen flat. And I think a lot of that's due to Javon Small just kind of running out of gas from having to carry this team without DeVries for majority of the season here. So I like TCU. I did not bet it, though.
All right. Let's frog it up. All right, let's skip the Mountain West games for some of them and then just combine these 2 at 11 for sake of time. We got San Diego State laying 2 at home against New Mexico. And then Santa Clara catching 6, 7, shop around 6.5, 7. So definitely shop around there. I picked Santa Clara. I don't love it. I feel like Gonzaga could easily just come out and smash it. But I think Santa Clara is technically their kryptonite. They've struggled against them. So, yes, there's that revenge angle, but also they're Gonzaga's kryptonite and was last year as well, too. And I went with the road dog here. I went with the better team. I took New Mexico. I know San Diego State's gritty at home, but I've seen them stumble at home. And I like this New Mexico team. And I think San Diego State, from what I'm looking at, is getting bet on. And that line's just kind of hung around there. I think the books are just as scared of San Diego State. Give me New Mexico plus 2.5.
New Mexico plus 2.5. I'm on San Diego. I'll battle on that one. I think the line's telling you what's going to happen here. New Mexico's been one of the hottest teams in the country. I think they dropped one tonight. I think this is a scheduled loss for them going to San Diego.
It's like Houston. Hopefully, it was like Houston yesterday. The same line.
Exactly how I feel about it. Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Although I don't think New Mexico's banged up, or if they are,
well, I don't think San Diego State's a top 10 team either. But still, there's a similarity to the game.
Agree. It's I definitely see the comparison. Yeah, I'm co-signing with that. As far as Gonzaga goes, I lay it with Gonzaga tonight. I think they've got to get up for one of these games. Like I feel like they've been they've been missing covers in a lot recently. At least whenever I bet it. So I think they get up for this game. And I hate this Santa Clara team. They're so wildly inconsistent, even at home. I cannot stand this team. So give me Gonzaga to smash tonight and win by 10.
Yeah, I like Santa Clara in this. Gonzaga's got to be feeling pretty defeated. I get the whole bounce back angle after losing. They've already lost to Santa Clara, but Santa Clara's going to get up for this game. I mean, it's Gonzaga at home, for Christ's sake. Like, they're not going to overlook this. Adama Alpha Ball is also back for Santa Clara tonight. So I think Santa Clara's live to win the game again. I don't believe in this Gonzaga team. They play no defense. They're so hit or miss. And, the defense is terrible. And Santa Clara has been really hot from 3 lately. So I can see that continuing at home and just another high-scoring game. And then the New Mexico game, I'm with you guys. San Diego State has not stepped up against these top teams. Utah State lost both of those. Colorado State, and then they went to the pit, which I'll give you credit. It's the pit. It's a tough place to play, but lost a game by like 14, 15 points. So I think New Mexico gets it done. They kind of feel like Michigan State, just catching points everywhere, and they just keep winning outright and getting done. Not to mention they're off a loss also. So I like New Mexico here.
Cap was on San Diego State, but I was on New Mexico.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, but all right. Now that was a good show, guys. Whatever, the D-Gen crew, New World Order came in. So freaking whatever. We're degenerates. So thanks for bearing with my first time hosting gig there.
You did a great job. Pat yourself in the back. The show moved. We didn't have any real dead air. I thought we did okay, adequately.
Yeah, I thought so too. And it's a lot of games. We chopped up most of the games. We did leave some of them out. I will give one that we left out for our moneyline dog of the day.
We got to do the moneyline dog. Let's get to it.
Yeah, I did hit NC Central last night, so I'll tout that. I will take. We didn't talk about this one. I like Southern Illinois. It's a short one. I normally like taking a little bigger dogs, but I like Southern Illinois and Carbondale on a rivalry. I think Illinois State's the better offensive team, but I'll go with Scott Nagy at home and getting it done for the Salukis. I feel like they're figuring it out, and they get this one done on the short spread. I'll take them on the money line and take the little yapper.
Okay, mine is going to be Army. The plus 3.5 at Lafayette. I like them to win outright.
All right,
bounce back spot for the troops.
Heck yeah, Trevor, round us out.
Yeah, I'm gonna get. I won't get that nuts. We'll do this. I'll take Santa Clara plus 240. I think Gonzaga is just a fraud team. I think Santa Clara gets up. They've been shooting really hot lately. They're getting their best player back. I think they get it done. I was going to say Iowa, but that's a little spicy.
Okay, so looks like you got Army plus 160. That's going to be around 17-1 plus 17-12. So that's a pretty hefty one. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Lock that moneyline doglet parlay. Appreciate you guys chat. Like I said, bearing with us and getting it done. But I thought it was a good show. You guys made it the best. Cap, round us out. He is at Cannabis Capper. Go check out his articles. He is the best writer. And
not even close.
No, he is. He is. He is. He's a Nobel or whatever the Pulitzer or whatever. And then we got Stooley Picks, my co-host Trevor Vandenbosch Jones with the Pump Fake Pod. We'll go live tonight at 10:30 or so, going over the Wednesday slate. So appreciate you guys. Tune in to SGPN. Follow us, like, and subscribe at TCE on SGPN, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and X/Twitter. Appreciate you guys. Take it easy.
Toodles.
Jack Fox out.
Jack Fox, mic drop.